and welcome back to the perfect Hololive fighting game, the show in which I just rumble approximately my second language and give away how much I think about Hololive and fighting games. For today, we'll talk about something that many people think of as the most important thing in a fighting game, aka the roster. So without further ado, let's get serious. As much as I wish everyone Zoshi could make it into the basic roster of the game, we need to be realistic. It's not going to happen. As I said in a previous video, the pool of talents within Hololive is already fucking massive at the moment. As much as it is tempting to go fuck it, this is a dream game, everybody's here, I still want to keep a smidge of realism as to make not things too easy. And every game launching with a 60 plus characters for its very first entry would be a mess. Even games that ended with a massive roster like Smash Ultimate, which has 82 characters, and Tekken 7, Ultimate Marvel vs Capcom, etc., did it by building something with countless entries that they released over the years. They spent decades building up to that point. And that's pretty much what we are going to do actually. But before that, let me address the unicorn in the room. Yes, the Holo Stars will be part of our perfect Hololive fighting game. Seeing how Cover and the talents themselves recently made efforts to get everyone within Hololive production closer, and with the increasing number of cross-promotions including both Hololive and Holo Stars, it just makes sense. Also, there's no way I ever let character designs looking like they're made for fighting games go to waste. With that being said, we have 71 talents to work with. For our base roster, we will need to cut a lot of them. Here are a few rules to make that easier. Festival rules, meaning the last gen of a branch won't be able to get in. That means no Gen 6, no ID3, no Hubro, no Tempus, and no Conceal, as strange as it is. Within the gens that are left, we need 2 members representation minimum, or at least 1 member if the gen has less than 5 members overall. Additional rules of at least 3 members overall for ID, and the same for Holo Stars. Now, here are a few things I'll take into account. Gen representation, archetype I see possible for the character, overall popularity, difficulty of adaptation into a fighting game character, and if the talent is my Oshi. But don't worry, there is a big power gap between this condition and the others. With that being said, we end up with a roster of minimum 19 characters. But as we can surmise, this is not a lot for a team game at all. Even DBFZ launched with 21 characters, so let's amp up that number a bit. And here is your core roster for your perfect Hololive fighting game. 26 characters. This is relatively a lot for a fighting game at launch, but also represents a long route to the full 71 talents roster. For those who think it's not a lot, it is necessary for the health and the balance of the game, and to make my life easier also. But what's next? We will now make the characters kits. For the video's length's sake, I will only describe the following elements when making the characters. Number 1, their archetype and why I came up with the idea for them. Number 2, their specials, supers, but not their normals. Number 3, what their holo button does. 4, their theme song and alternative theme song. 5, their first alternative outfit. And finally, maybe a stage if the talent has a specific place that would make a good one, or at least a place more or less tangentially related to them. For the characters' moveset, I'll take inspiration from the characters' lore, how they're represented in official media made by cover, how they're depicted in previous game and fan game apparitions, and how they're depicted in fan art. But those aren't rules, just inspiration sources. It doesn't mean they're absolute. It's not because Kali played one way in Holocure that she will have a similar kind of kit. Obviously there are some common inspirations and some tropes that are pretty obvious when making a character, but again, this is not an absolute rule. In the same way, the criteria for the theme song will be the popularity of the song, if it's upbeat and hype enough to fit a moment like a cinematic super in a fighting game. It also has to somehow contain some sort of personal element related to the character. It can't just be an excellent song on something completely random. For the outfit, it's basically how much the talent uses that secondary outfit and how well would it fit a fighting game. And that's it! I hope you enjoyed the video and...
Here comes a new challenger!
Well, you probably saw it in the thumbnail, but we are actually starting now with the goddess of Hololive herself, Tokino Sora. Tokino Sora, the one that started it all. As such, she has to be the first character in our perfect Hololive fighting game too. She is in many regards the face of Hololive, and I couldn't imagine a Hololive game being complete without her. So what would Sora play like? Well, I wanted to do something that represents the personality of Sora while still being accessible as a member of our core roster. This is why Sora is a Shoto, but with some special characteristics. Her hollow button will act as a force attack button, but all the attacks of that button will be idol related. And Sora will have a special idol meter that fills up by doing a certain special move. It's uncontestable that Sora is one of the big idols of Hololive, so she will be tuned with that in mind. So here are Sora's specials. Let's start with 236 plus attack. Her projectile is actually Ankimo. In this, she accidentally throws Ankimo after playing human merry-go-round. I believe Sora would never throw Ankimo on purpose. No. When it comes to properties, A, B and C have different projectile speeds. The EX version on hit or on block will leave an Ankimo on the ground that will imitate all of Sora's moves, but more on that later. Now to 623 plus attack. It will be idol jump. Sora jumps like an idol, her hand pointing toward the sky. It is basically Sora's DP. The strength determines the height and the invincibility. 2-2 plus attack. In this move, Sora put Ankimo on the ground in front of her. The teddy bear will then be stationary and replicate every of Sora's moves, including specials. She cannot use projectiles as Ankimo is on the ground. Ankimo disappears only if the opponent hits him. Each version of attack makes Sora place him at a different distance. The stronger the button is, the further he will go. The EX version has Sora launching him at the edge of the screen and placing him behind the opponent. Then every of Sora's action will be mimicked but mirrored. Let's go to 214 plus attack! It will be Sora's version of a Tatsu. She will do a graceful idol twirl, moving forward and hit anybody in her way. Each strength has a different travel distance. And finally, a core special within Sora's moveset. 63214 plus Holo will make Sora do idol steps. The activation fills her idol meter. To go into the details, the idol meter is simply 3 different levels. 1, 2 and 3. Each level adds properties to both all attack she does with the hollow button and her idle special moves, which are idle jump and idle twirl, making Sora stronger as the match goes by. Let's talk about supers now, shall we? 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, 6 plus A. Her super level 1 is the Katana Slash, a fast super that covers 70% of the screen. If it hits, the opponent crumbles, opening him up to a combo. However, there is a lot of recovery if it whiffs or is blocked. 236, 236 plus B. Her level 2 super is Call and Response. Sora raises her arm in a large anti-air movement. If it hits, Sora gains an entire level worth of idle meter. 236, 236 plus C. Finally, her original level 3 cinematic super will be a callback to that time Sora became a Super Saiyan Rose flying angel using a bow in space. And yes, this actually happened. This apparently happened in an exclusive paid Nico Nico stream in 2018. And from my understanding, the system of Nico Nico makes that this stream isn't available at all anywhere on the internet anymore. So I haven't actually seen the footage, but the screenshots of the event look so cool I had to use this. Sora sends the opponent into space. She follows the enemy by growing wings and flying out of the Earth's atmosphere. Finally, after reaching the opponent, she turns into her pink form and grabs her bow and shoots a powerful arrow towards the enemy. So fucking good. As for unlockable level 3, it will be the occasion for me to introduce the change, which is the element of the story that is causing havoc on the hollow world, and is also used as a MacGuffin to explain the more crazy things that are happening with its talents moveset, okay? It's a bit lazy, but it's cool, okay? Shut up! For that secondary super, the change will make Hankimo grow at a giant size and will step on the opponent, while Sora is riding on its head, just like in her Minecraft Hankimo build. So with that, we have now a full moveset. So as you can see, Sora has a Tatsu, a GP and a projectile. So if you're not a freak, you'll consider her as a technical Shoto. Her gameplay will consist of spacing with projectile, putting Hankimo in front of her, and or using assists to keep the enemy at a distance while she's doing idle steps to get stronger, then strike at the very end. In a team, she would probably do best at points so she can start charging her idle meter as soon as possible to be more helpful at the end of the match. We are now done with the moveset. Let's move to the other little things. For her character theme song, the choice was really tricky to make. Sora has a lot of bangers and quite a few could actually fit the criteria we established earlier. It's hard to pick only 2. But in the end, I still ended up with 3 main candidates that could fit the bill. Step and Go, Dream Story and Sora no Toki. The first 2 are respectively the 2 most popular Sora songs. Dream Story is the oldest and was used by Sora as one of her banner songs in the older days. Then, after on-stage release, she alternated quite a lot between Gulu Gulu Love Story and Step and Go for a while. She also sang the latter during the latest Holofest. Finally, we have Sora no Toki, the most recent one. It was Science's first single. It's surprisingly also one of the most personal Sora modern song and one that fits her the most in my opinion. But they also all have cons. Dream Story is quite old and I think Sora outgrew that song a while ago. Step and Go is not as hype as the other 2 and also lacks a personal element to it. It's a song about keeping moving forward even in difficult times, and while it fits Sora well, it still lacks the personal elements the 2 others have. Sora no Toki is the most recent and is not getting the popularity it deserves at the moment. It's incredible, but it's a sleeper hit. So after a long deliberation with myself, I decided that Sora's theme song will be Dream Story! Catchy, upbeat, popular and hype. I can totally see her super hitting hard at the moment she says or especially for her basic super. And I picked Sora no Toki as a secondary unlockable one. I think it would be a good contrast between a song from the old era and the current one. Also do some promo, wink wink. Her unlockable outfit will be her birthday dress. While it's true that Sora uses her casual outfit more for everyday streaming, it's obviously not the most flamboyant one. The dress on the other hand has a nice enough energy to it that it could be used as a battle dress of some sort. Also, Sora uses it a lot when she's doing lives, so it's about the same in terms of utilization. And as an aside, Sora has also so many variations for her outfit that she will be good to go for years after the initial release in terms of alternative costumes. And of course, one of her main intro quote would be the iconic And that's it for Sora! Now let's check the stage of the day! Of course, our perfect Hololive game would be incomplete without the Hololive Office. Yes, this is where it all began. It's one of the most recognizable places of the Hololive lore. It's over for today! Sora helped make our game a little more perfect. But how do you think Sora should play in our perfect fighting game? What changes would you make, and what kind of details would you want to see added? Whether you are hardcore Soratomo or not, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Next week, a new talent will join our roster. Try to guess who it will be. Bye!
私すごい。私ほんとすごい。